Welcome to another edition of Insurance Questions Podcast. 134, Don. Holy crap. How did that happen?
I just don't know. It's just going by too fast. We're having a blast. That's why.
Well, our audience keeps on getting bigger, and our technical difficulties that were beyond our control are fixed. So I did a big data dump. We did all the videos on YouTube that we were unable to post are all posted as of yesterday.
Perfect.
So if you want to check out, I think that started from episode 129 to 133. So people want to check that out. And so I wanted to get on real quick because Sarah started talking and I got some questions for her about what she was talking about and I didn't want to waste them.
Yeah, he told me basically to shut up and save it for the podcast.
He did say that.
Yes. So all the comments and statements by Eddie Buffalo, Sassy, Sarah, and Donnie Lowe are purely for entertainment purposes.
And like, subscribe, share, follow. We're all on social medias on different platforms. I'm not on X. I was on it, not on it. Donnie's on X. Eddie is on X. Like, you'll find one of us, if not all three of us, on the social media platforms. But remember, Eddie really loves the attention. So just spam him with everything. All the questions you have, tax related, insurance related. I would say something. It's regarding something we already said, not to mention because people have issues.
Do not even do that. Because I will never leave the screen when you two chuckleheads are by yourselves. I learned a lesson from all the emails.
And if you don't know, it was brought up in prior videos. So just go back to a few videos and you'll see it. Anyways.
Hit the fan mail button, right? Hit the fan mail button so that you can email Eddie and our TikTokers. He loves to correspond with you. So just do that. And it's always a blast. And we appreciate all of your support, all your views and listens. Thank you. And share.
There's an exciting thing I'd like to share with you guys. Since we were able to finally post 132, which was our big show last week that had 16 million people in the first hour. Since we reposted it yesterday, we are just over 21 million views on all 31 podcast channels that we do have. So that's pretty exciting. And thank you, folks. We're actually on our next show. We are going to delve into that subject again and see what Donnie has come up with. But Sarah, you were talking about your son playing football. I want to hear more about this because I have a question for you.
Okay. So basically, Donnie asked how my weekend was, and my son had a pizza pool party with his football team.
That's cool.
Which he absolutely loved. But they had a game. So for those of you who don't know, my son is on the shorter side. He has not hit a lot of growth spurts, which is fine. He'll hit them eventually, right?
Ginger Ninja.
Huh?
He's a Ginger Ninja.
Yeah. Well, and then I also found out that, and I was not aware of this until last week, that insulin also affects the growth hormone. So he has a few issues. One is just genetics of being on the shorter side. And then, of course, now you throw in insulin. But with football, they had a game. And it was super, super exciting because he got to be put in. Because he's also new to the team. He's a seventh grader. It's a homeschooling league. So there's older teammates. They have we have 30 kids on the team. So they're trying to gauge who can play and everything else. So there's a first and a second string, and then you have the newcomers. Yes.
Question for you. And I'm not being a wise guy, but this is a question that was asked for me because I heard about your son being in the whole homeschool league. Who do they play against, Sarah?
They play with others. So it's a homeschool Christian league. So the guy who runs it, he's an ex-NFL player for the Dallas Cowboys. He's actually worked with other Christian schools, whether private or other homeschool leagues. I don't think there's another homeschool league here, but he's worked with mainly private Christian schools of us playing their team on their football league, or there's other football fields that one we get to practice at. It's Texas Health, which is a hospital here. Mm-hmm. They have an athletic center that has a football league or a football field. That's where we play or practice. But the only downside is because our league is DFW Metroplex and we play a lot of different private schools, his first actual game was in Grapevine. For those who don't know, for me, it's a 45 minute drive.
That's not too bad.
Some parents, it was 15, 20 minutes. So,
And another half hour for me.
Yeah. So it's all over the place. And they do fundraisers throughout the year because our varsity team actually travels to other states to play.
Oh, wow.
So it's really, really awesome. Super blessed that we found this league. But what's really great is this is his third year playing tackle football. He loves it. I was trying to get him involved in football and hockey because he knows how to throw his weight around and he loves the physical contact. He does not ice skate well, so I couldn't get him into hockey. But I tried convincing him with lessons and everything else. He refused. But with football, because he's on the smaller side, they're worried about his safety, so they're trying to be really conscious of that. But he got to play 2 plays as nose guard. And what's really adorable is when he first gets put in, the other team are gently pushing him back, like the one guy, because they want to make sure he doesn't get hurt. And this has happened through every time he plays.
Don't ever call football adorable again. Don't ever do that.
Oh, no.
Don't ever do that. Don't be a girl.
No, because it's anytime he gets put in, like the first few plays, the other team is very gentle with him. They don't want to hurt him until afterwards they get used to him and they're just like, whatever. That's what I mean by adorable. So they did that. Well, then the next time that he played, 2 people from the other team were trying to push him back. And I'm like, hey, that leaves an opening for our team to get back there. And when I was talking to the coach about that, he's like, yeah, I was talking to my defense guy, and we are totally going to have to start utilizing that, which is awesome. That's cool. We're used to him being in the game 98% of the time from the other times that he's played. So this year, because he's not in as much, he's like, I want to be in. Like, why am I not in?
I'm sure Aiden wouldn't be really thrilled about you saying he was adorable playing football.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, no, I tell him that. He does not like that.
Yeah, of course not.
He doesn't like the nickname I have so nicknames for my kids. My daughter was Sweet Pea. He was Chickadee.
Chickadee?
Chickadee. I don't know why. That's just what I gave him. And when he got to about 10, he's like, stop calling me that. I am Little Red.
I love it.
For Aiden. Like, he hates it when I call him that. So, yes, me calling it adorable, me calling it sweet, me calling me all those things, he hates it.
Of course he does.
Like, your boy.
It's different when I say, Donnie Lowe, you're adorbs. You're adorbs, Donnie Lowe. You're so cute.
Yeah. Oh, no. So even if I say he looks handsome and adorable and all that, he hates it too.
Of course.
What I've told him is I'm your mother and you'll always be my baby. It doesn't matter if I'm on my deathbed and you're in your 80s. You will be my baby. Like, period.
My little baby.
So here's a couple things for you real quick. No, here he goes.
I love Pop-Tarts.
That was number 1. So I saw, as you're telling your story, Ed's kind of eating away over there. It's like, is that a Pop-Tart that he's eating? What kind of a Pop-Tart is it?
It's going to be bad.
I know.
Because
what's my favorite, Donnie? What's my favorite? That's what I'm eating.
Is the cherry one? Well, I don't know. The pumpkin pie.
Cinnamon.
Yeah, brown sugar and cinnamon.
I was also going to mention, we went to Tom Thumb Sunday, and they had buy 2, get 2 free on Pop-Tarts. So we have 4 Pop-Tarts. Aiden picked 4 different flavors that he wanted to try.
Tom Thumb?
And I'm like, it's so funny because we don't buy them.
It's like a more expensive Wegmans kind of, but on a smaller size. No.
Tom Thumb. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So the league that Gaden's in, doesn't that kind of sound like the Monsignor Martin League, maybe, in Buffalo?
Kind of.
A little bit?
Kind of. But Timon would play regular public schools, too.
Okay. The Monsignor
Yeah,
Martin
so
is more the private schools and private Catholic schools.
They probably had to do that, Don, because there's so few
Yeah, no,
private Catholic
exactly.
schools anymore in Buffalo. You
Yeah.
know,
So the other
yeah.
thing
Well,
that I
and
mentioned was, I'm sorry to
mhm.
cut you off, Sarah, but
No, you're good.
I asked Sarah if she has seen the movie The Blind Side, because when you and you have not, when you do, there's a
come on,
certain point in the movie where you'll appreciate
you're a
what.
soccer mom. You
Anyway,
guys, I mean, soccer mom. Oh my God,
yes,
you're a
that's her
football
face.
mom.
Well, and we were told about this movie called Rudy
Oh, of
um,
course.
Gosh, I
from
never heard
Aiden's
of that
coach.
movie. How about you, Don? I've never heard of that.
Is it about
Whatever.
like
So
plants or things that you plant to eat, the roots of, or something, or?
no. So
It was so bad, Don.
it is basically his coach last year because of Aiden's height. He's insecure about it. And one of his coaches was on the shorter side, and he's like, "Look, I was there. You'll get a growth spurt. Watch this movie. It's about this guy who literally his dream was to play. Now he went his whole college life, right? He played one time. That's it. One play. One freaking play. And that was it. Aiden's not facing that, thankfully. But the coach was also mentioned, which you need to learn to do because a lot of people will underestimate your size. You need to know how to flatten them when you tackle. Like, they want to keep messing with you. Okay, cool. Funny, haha, they give you a hard time. And then all it takes is one time of you two having contact and you flatten them on their back. They won't mess with you anymore.
Absolutely. It's like
So he
punching the
actually got to
bully
do
in the
that.
nose. That's what that's like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So,
I got two statements for you, Sarah. You remember when he was going down the tunnel and he hit the sign before they went onto the field?
yes.
I was fortunate enough to get on the field at Notre Dame for a USC game, and I hit that sign. I'm sure it
That's
wasn't
cool.
the same
That's
sign,
awesome.
but just feeling the history and walking on the sidelines and seeing what a beautiful stadium it was and just the atmosphere. I mean, I'm a huge Bills fan, and our tailgates are legendary. Notre Dame's are better. I can't believe I'm saying that, but they were just ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
And number two, since you're getting caught up being a football mom and watching movies to show your son, a great movie. Now, it was remade, so make sure you watch the original. It's called The Longest Yard.
I knew you were going to say that.
Fantastic movie for kids. And it'll help his vocabulary.
Maybe not a
really.
positive light. Burt Reynolds was in the original.
He was in the second one too.
Not the Adam
Oh, that's
Sandler
right.
one.
He was in it.
He was
He was
no,
an
I'm
older
saying
player.
not the Adam Sandler one. You're saying to see the original.
Right.
The
Watch the original. So, he'll get the whole experience. So, Sarah, I got to ask you, did you watch Poultrygeist, the movie, over the weekend?
No, I did not. I completely because with the football, I worked Saturday, dropped him off to the football party, which was a drive. And then Sunday, what did I do Sunday? I did stuff.
More importantly,
Sunday is church and scout day.
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
More
So we got
importantly,
to
did
do some
you
bowling
eat any
and
chicken over the weekend?
Huh?
Did you eat any chicken over the weekend after
No.
seeing the trailer for Poultrygeist?
Yes, I did.
Were they zombie chickens? Were they zombie
I did
chickens?
not
That's what I
turn
want
into
to know.
zombie chicken. Yeah.
For Halloween,
I
they
did
should
think
bring
about
out like
that. I
zombie
need to watch
Pop-Tarts.
it. I just never got around to it. So
Zombie Pop-Tarts this Halloween season. Buy them, folks. That'd be awesome. So I want to make another announcement. Somebody on this screen's turning 25 on Thursday. Somebody's having a birthday.
Johnny, you're turning 25? What?
I didn't say 225, so you know it isn't Donnie.
I know, but it's not 25. That's an insult to me. I ain't that dang young.
Oh, come on now. I think 25 was the best age ever.
So here's my thing is I'm finally getting to the age where I don't get carded because I don't look too young, thankfully, because I hate that. That to me, that's a waste of my time. And I'm also looking as if I'm
How
wise,
dare they
and I
follow the
know
law?
what I'm doing in life.
Jerks. How dare they follow the law and make sure you are the right age, Sarah?
Okay,
Are you allowed to say
I'm
that?
turning 40. I should not be carded at 35 because I do not look under 21.
Yeah, baby.
Just
Yeah, baby Sarah. Little baby Sarah. There she is getting her booze.
No.
Goza.
This is my energy drink. I tried
Yeah, it's called vodka.
It is called, it's the brand Ghost, and it's their burner, and they don't put any extra coloring or additives into it.
The Ghost
it's
tequila.
Really good.
That's what it is.
I pre-made it, but I didn't put enough, like in the actual drink. I diluted it a little too much, so I'm drinking another one.
So
Well,
what do
happy
you want to
birthday
drink?
this week.
So today is Tax Questions Podcast.
Woo!
Answered just about all the text questions, right? Talking about football.
Yeah, right. Well, one thing I wanted to cover, and this isn't anything new that's come out. This has been brought up many a times over the years, is taxing unrealized capital gains. Which, for those who don't know, basically, if you invest in a 401k or the stock market, if, let's say, you buy something for $5, we'll say GameStop. You buy their stock for $5 and it increases to $20 per share, you make money. But it's unrealized because it can always drop. You can always lose money still. And Harris has mentioned she wants to tax the unrealized capital gains, meaning if it increases from $5 to $20, you now have a $15 profit on however many shares you have.
Right.
You'll have to pay a tax when you file your tax return.
Right.
Which mainly would mean, depending on how much you have, it could be in the millions of dollars of gains. If it's a really good year, you might also have the losses that you can take, but then you only get like 3,000 loss to carry over, and it offsets your gains. But it's one of those it's not a wise thing to do. They're saying it's only for those who are over a certain net worth. But we'll use an example is, I'm trying to think of a rich person. Mark Cuban.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he's taxed on all of his unrealized capital gains. He might have to sell the stock to pay the tax.
Right. Because
he actually doesn't have that money. And kind of like with the tax situation, the one thing that, I don't believe it's going to go through. Although Harris is saying she wants to tax it at 28%, Biden was saying 40%. So we at least get a discount with Harris. The one reason I don't think it's going to go through is they're talking about only for the rich. That's only going to be for so long. Think about the tax situation. It was only supposed to be the 1%ers, and then now everybody pays taxes, and it hurts more the middle class than it does the higher. I don't want to say it hurts them worse, because the more money they make, the more they have to pay in taxes. And yeah.
Well, like with the unrealized capital gains tax, if they go through with it, say you have a home, a house that's worth $200,000. And again, I don't know what the threshold is as far as income, right? Where they would tax that. But let's just say you have a home that's worth $200,000. And the way the market has been crazy the past, 5 years or so, that house is now worth double that. It's worth $400,000. Well, on paper, it might be worth $400,000. And so it's not like you're cashing in on the equity to pay you'd have to do that to pay the tax on that $200,000 gain.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're saying it's over net worth above 100 million are to pay their unrealized capital gains. So one, that's going to make people not want to invest in the 401k stock market, which is going to affect those companies, which in turn is going to cause an economic downturn. It's going to turn pretty crappy. That's number one. Number two, they can't say, oh, you only have to report it if you're at above 100 million. It will be the rule of everyone has to report it, but you don't get taxed until 100 million,
right.
Meaning the people who pay to have their taxes done, it will be more because there's more changes that are being put in. Every single effect on those will be listed.
Yeah, true.
True. And then again, they're not going to stay at the 100 million. Let's say this was enacted and they start getting that tax money in. Well, hey, our budget. One thing that frustrates me with the government, and this is any government, is they make a budget and they don't stick to it. It's not a realistic budget. You cannot function your household if you don't budget. You cannot function your business if you don't budget. And that's the reason we see such a horrible amount of money that is owed in debt by the government, is because they make these budgets, but they don't stick to it. Everybody knows that, hey, if you get 10 million in your budget, and I'm using 10 million because it's the government. Let's say you only spend 5 million. Well, hey, we need to go waste another $5 million so our budget doesn't get cut.
Exactly.
Instead of thinking, hey, everybody pays flipping taxes, our debt is going up. How about we build something realistic and cut a lot of the BS out?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a toilet seat should not cost $500,000. Just me. Anyways, sorry, I had to go on a little rant there. One of the things is like with it's never going to stay at the $1 million or 100 million. It's never going to stay there. That's one of my concerns, is it's going to end up filtering down to people. Yeah, the people who are just starting out may not have as much unrealized capital gains. But then they also I haven't seen anything that they mention with unrealized capital losses. Are you even able to deduct those? So are you just paying on the gains every single year? But what happens if that stock loses the next year? I haven't seen that information either.
I know.
Which then started the rabbit hole. Some people know that there's countries that you put your money in that you don't pay any capital gains tax or any state tax. I was seeing some YouTube shorts about Puerto Rico, that you can actually move there and you wouldn't be subject to a lot of the taxes and that you would have to with the US. The one thing that to keep in mind is, let's say you move to another country, or you move to Puerto Rico. You're still a US citizen, but you're in Puerto Rico, or one of the other islands or countries that are part of the US, but not really a part of the US, so they don't get voting rights. One thing to remember is it's only the income in that country or in that province that would be non-taxable.
Well, I remember when you looked up Aruba for people that are going to retire to Aruba, and it was like 55% tax or something crazy like that.
Yes. Well, and so for example, Puerto Rico, you wouldn't really have any income tax. But
why is that? Because it's a U.S. territory and they're U.S. citizens. Territory.
But the issue is let's say you still get income from the U.S. states, not territories. You would still have to report that income and pay that tax on that income. So just because you moved to Puerto Rico and you would have to live there majority of the year, doesn't mean all of your income is non-taxable. It's just what's generated from Puerto Rico. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Crazy
so
stuff.
Basically, if you want to move out of the country, or whether a different territory or you want to move into an entirely different country, you might want to talk to a tax professional from USA and also overseas to whatever country you're looking at moving into, because some countries have higher tax rates that may or may not be beneficial to you.
Very true. So the cut right now, it's $100 million net worth or income?
They have net wealth.
Okay. So somebody owns a business that pulls in $50 million of revenue. They have a $5 million house. They have, I know other investments were at 45 million or whatever. Then they would be taxed that unrealized capital gain.
Well, but here's the thing is you only get so much in property taxes written off.
Right.
What other requirements would be needed for the IRS to know your net worth or net wealth that's not being reported? Because you don't have to take your property taxes. And the main reason is if your standard deduction is higher, I mean, that's something you can add, but I have some clients that are just like, it's not even worth me going and getting that bill and providing it to you. So I'm just taking the standard deduction.
Now, isn't the cap on that on the property taxes? It's capped at 10,000, isn't it?
It is capped. So then that's the other thing.
That's a deduction.
Like, it comes into like I said, net wealth. What all more information do you need to provide? Because it doesn't say specifically over stocks and other assets for capital gains.
Right.
So it can cause more requirements because you have that FinCEN for companies now that needs to be reported, even though at the state and the federal level, it's already being reported. Now there's another agency that's created that you need to report stuff to.
Oh, great. Another agency. Just what we need.
I am so minimal government because, oh my God.
Are they hiring? That sounds like a pretty good job.
I mean, hey, go for it. I'm to the point where I want to just join an Amish community because they don't pay taxes. The only downside is I like AC and I like listening to music on the radio.
And I don't think it's the Amish you're thinking that are from Kingpin either, Sarah. Just saying.
Huh?
Hey, did you remember that movie, the bowling movie with Bill Murray, Woody Harrelson?
I remember nothing about the movie except for it exists and I've seen it. It's just been so long. I don't remember much.
Well, yeah,
I started watching the movie.
25, so you are getting old.
Remember it. Sorry, I didn't hear that. What?
I said you are turning 25, so you're getting older. I get it.
No, that's the superpower that I have of not remembering information. So, a funny story is I can read a book. And
that is a funny story that you can actually read a book. Yes, it's hilarious.
No, I'm getting there. Stop. I can't reread the book because even years later, if I pick up that book and I start reading it, I remember the entire book, every detail in it.
Oh, wow.
You must have been a hell of a test taker then.
No, I suck at taking tests, and that's because I second guess myself.
If you remember all the stuff, how can you not do good on a test?
Because most tests are pick the best answer, and they'll give you some true answers in there. And I'm like, no, I remember that. I remember this and that, whatever. But usually it's the best answer of the 3 correct answers that's there. And the other one is a curveball. Well, I know the curveball isn't right, but I read about the other 3, but which one is the best answer out of all of them? And then I'll guess it because I'm like, that's all I can do. And then I'll second guess myself and then I'll change my answer, but my original answer was correct. But then I also have the problem of I guess it. And then I'm like, I'm going to leave it there. I'm like really sure that that's right. And then I was wrong. I should have changed it. So I have that. Yeah, I do not take tests well. I remember information, but the testing is not there.
It's the logical side of the testing of the answer that you're it's a gray area for you.
Yes. So
probably has a lot to do with the wordage too.
Yeah, sometimes when it worked, like I thought I had an issue in my English class. I almost failed one time. It was horrible. And it was because she took worksheets out of the book and said, just do these. And I'm like, it literally makes no sense. When I'm reading it, I'm not understanding what they're asking. And she didn't give me any help. She just flunked me. I did what I could, and she just put a 0 in the book because it wasn't completed. And I'm like, but I answered some questions. I left the ones blank that it made no sense to me. That was a different story.
Me and Donnie were talking this weekend, and he offered to help you with your wordage.
Who?
Donnie, that guy.
Hello.
Have you met him? Donnie Lowe, Sassy Sarah, Sassy Leonard, Donnie Lowe.
Nice to meet you.
So I will just hire someone to do all that stuff for me. Hold on, let me rephrase that. I will not do what the big accounting firm did a few years ago and have people take tests in the ethics portion or any other portion. I just won't go take the tests. So that was
Ed was referencing. He texted me. He says, "What is the wordage of the day?" And I was like, question mark. What is the wordage of the day? And I said, well, to be honest, the correct terminology is not wordage, it's verbiage.
Oh, believe me, I got enough emails this weekend telling me that. Okay. Sarah, I get the most emails about you. Do you realize that? That's why you're number one.
I doubt it because I just say whatever pops into my head.
I don't care. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I don't care if it's accurate or not. I relay the information, people understand it, and I move on with my life. Like
so
it's just.
You will find this interesting, Don. I was at a diner over the weekend.
That's very interesting.
And I said to the gentleman that was our waiter, I said, "Let me ask you, kid. What do you think about these words? Wordage and verbiage. Think about it. Which one's better to use?" He goes, "Well, verbiage is, the thing you're trying to talk to people. But if you're writing a song, it's all about the wordage." I'm like, interesting. What do you think about that? Chime in on that, Donnie.
That is very interesting. But I think the correct, if you base it on the spelling, it's verbiage, verbiage.
Because we all know that Donnie loves to correct my spelling. Because no one's as perfect as Donnie Lowe. Donnie Lowe, the one and only Donnie Lowe.
But I guess from a creative and artistic point of view, you can come up with a term that's not a word and just go with it. So wordage, I don't believe is a proper term, a word. It's more like a slang.
Thank you, Professor Lowe. We do appreciate you looking out for me and Sassy Sarah. We do appreciate that a lot.
I'm just trying to keep us out of trouble.
You're complaining about me not looking at the screen. She looks to the side all the time.
She's Googling something, that's why.
Not Sarah, she would never do that.
I was letting you guys talk. I was listening.
Let's mess around here. Because you got mad when Gemini tried to steal your thunder yesterday. So let's see what this says. Please tell me who is Sassy Sarah?
Sassy Sarah is most likely referring to Sarah Vaughan, a renowned jazz singer, often called Sassy or the Divine One. She was known for her powerful, versatile voice and her ability to improvise and phrase music in a unique way. If you're thinking of someone else named Sassy Sarah, please provide more context, such as where you heard the name or what they do.
Wow. You know what? You're not the original. I'm shocked, Sarah. I thought you were the original Sassy Sarah.
I know. I should be number one. Give me time. I'll get there.
Tell me if
Sarah Vaughan, that's a great one.
Okay. Tell me about Sassy Sarah from Insurance Questions Podcast. She does taxes.
I couldn't find any information about a Sassy Sarah.
You're not number one, Sarah.
Who also does taxes. It's possible that, one, there might be a more specific name or title.
We had enough of you. We had enough. Stop talking.
Specific, not Pacific.
I didn't say Pacific. Jesus.
No. So that's a joke.
I guess you didn't understand my wordage.
No, sometimes I say Pacific and I'm like specific. Like I have to see it in my head to make sure I say it correctly.
Specific.
Because I'm not
Just like they have all those commercials for ED, and it's not my name; it's for something that guys need. Look at Sarah. I can see the gears turning up there.
No, I'm going to ignore you.
That's so hard to do, Sarah.
It is. It's just easier to not say anything. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So Donnie, for investment, he decides to purchase artwork. You know, he had his eye on sculpture, a beautiful pickle paddle for pickleball. Now, if he buys it for
patch of pickled peppers, is that what you?
Yes. Purchase pickleball. So, okay, he buys it for $10,000, and within 6 months, it's worth 20. Explain how we claim that? Do we have to claim it? Should you claim it? If you're talking about buying an object
that depends on how they want to handle the net wealth and any unrealized capital gains. Then yes, you might have to report it. But my thing is insure it definitely. But until you sell it or donate it, there shouldn't be anything that needs to be done.
Well, right,
because you still have it.
Exactly. But so that's a great example to bring up because
say it, Don.
No,
that's a great question. Say it. People are thirsty. They want to do their shots.
No shots on this Tuesday. It's a great example because who determines what that painting or sculpture of the pickleball paddle is? Somebody might say, well, it's worth 20,000. Somebody might say, well, it's worth 25. Somebody might say it's worth 5.
Yes.
So the wealth is really, or what it's worth is really who's willing to pay what to purchase that.
Right. Well, and let's say after you have it for 3-4 years, you're like, you know what? I'm sick of staring at it. I'm going to donate it so that a charity can raffle it off or they can sell it and get the proceeds. What you would do is get it valued and use that receipt with your IRS saying, hey, I'm donating this painting. Here's the backup documentation that it was valued. One thing to be sure of, what I would suggest clients to do is get 2 or 3 valuations, and we can determine, like, is it close enough that it doesn't really matter which one you take, or is one super high, one is super low? We'll just take the middle one, right? Because you can actually be in trouble if you overvalue property that you give to a charity.
Right.
And you don't want to get caught in that. You can also get in trouble if it's undervalued too. There's a fine line, which is why I say get multiple. It's kind of like if you got a bid on your house for some work, you want to get multiple. You just don't want to take the first one that's given, just to make sure that 1, you're getting good people, and 2, you're getting a good quote.
Well, obviously, I'm asking this question to be a wise guy, but it kind of leads into what you have told us in the past. Okay, so I sold a bunch of Coke for $20,000, and to launder that money, no, cocaine, and I used those proceeds from selling that cocaine to buy an art project or whatever Donnie's telling me. You know, he tells me this pickleball is worth something. I gotta believe him. And because it was an illegal activity, and as long as I tell them about it, I won't get in trouble. Is that
so? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You listed as other income for the money that you receive from illegal activity. That does not stop you from getting prosecuted by law enforcement because it is illegal. And you don't say, hey, I got this from doing illegal activities. You just list it as other income. So that you don't get caught by the IRS for tax evasion, tax fraud, all of those things. So you report it there. again, I highly encourage you not to do illegal activities or break the law.
Wait. Do you hear those sirens? Ed's no longer in the picture here.
Oh my gosh,
goodness.
I know, right? He had to go
For
run away.
those of you that are just listening to the podcast and not viewing it, when
Hey,
Ed asked that,
he had to go. This is Freddie Buffalo. I'm taking over for him for the rest of the show. I love Jesus. I love family, and I never do anything illegal.
and I love Coca-Cola.
I love Coca-Cola. It's delicious, especially if you go to the movies and get the frozen one. It's delicious.
So
Yeah.
again, those that were only listening and not viewing us, when Eddie asked that question, literally Sarah's head went to her desk, and it's like she fainted. Oh my goodness!
So, because I, a lot of people have asked about that, and I thought it was kind of interesting that the whole, legal things. Because what do you say, Al Capone? That's how they got him.
Al Capone was. He didn't get caught by illegal activities. He got caught by the IRS for tax evasion.
Now, Donnie, did you go to high school with him, or did you just know him because you were the same age?
We were just acquaintances. That's all.
Sarah, we're past your magic minute. Is there anything else you'd like to speak about, or would you like us to pull the plug on this bad boy?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Remember, if you guys have any tax questions, bug Eddie. He loves these kind of things. He'll pass it on. We can do similar questions that we do with the insurance on Thursdays if you happen to have tax questions.
And
or accounting questions if you don't want to.
Remember, Sarah, football is not adorable.
That's right.
Football is so adorable. Adorbs.
So, all right, we're out of here. For your buddy Eddie Buffalo, Donnie Lowe, and Sarah, if you like working with people, they're just like you. We're the people to see. www.ebiagency.com. I put up a different hotline, 716-541-4118. And we are out of here for Tax Tuesday. See everybody tomorrow for Insurance Questions Podcast.
Ciao.
Take it easy. Everybody stay safe.